So I think everyone should be able to find it. I'm just going to bring it up on my iPad so that I've got the chat. Right. How is everyone? I have my cake dummy here. I will pan you down in a second. Just let me... My phone's on charge, so the lead for some reason doesn't want to... There we go. Perfect. So how is everyone? How are we? I have had a very busy day, so that's why I went for an in-between slot, because I'm hoping that the people that wanted the later one will also get a chance to see it, and so will the people that wanted the earlier one. I'm going to put that down there for a second. We need to mix our colours. I'm just using a plain buttercream because it's just going on a cake dummy, so it doesn't matter about flavour. So I am thinking, I don't know if anyone else follows him, it's highly likely that you do, but there's someone called Chels Bells and she is like amazing. Her cakes look amazing, and what I'm thinking is she sticks sprinkles in like patterns on the side of her cake. So I'm thinking that maybe I either do a plain base, like a white base, and then I'm gonna do a little fondant disc using one of my new embossers. I've got a little Merry Christmas embosser, so I was going to use that, put it on the front, and then do buttercream in kind of like a wreath style on the front, and then stick these sprinkles on the sides, because I wanted to show you how she did that, because I saw it when I went to the cake show because she was there, and it was the best thing I've ever seen. So there's either that, or we do that but add in stripes. So I don't know what we're thinking, feel free to put it in the chat, but I've got some new colourings as well, which I wanted to try. So I've got a rose and an olive, which I think will be really nice together. I'm not planning to do them as dark as they are on the bottles. This is a very dark green. I'm planning to just do a pastel version, but the pink I was going to do again a pastel version, but not too dark. So let me know your thoughts, because if we do the stripe, then we'll do pink, green and white stripes, whereas if we do the plain, then it will probably just be a white base and then a coloured wreath, and then we've got coloured sprinkles and things like that. But I'm swaying more towards the stripes. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm in a dilemma. Right, I'm going to separate these so that we can colour it, because either way we will need 3 different colours. So just grab my white colouring. So this is the other one we might mix in, which is Sage, which is another Colour Mill one. We may mix that into the green depending on the tone, because like I said, it's the first time I'm using it. So depending on how green it is, or like how brown it is, because it's more of an olive, we will see. So I'm just adding a little bit of Colour Mill white just to nicen that up. So that's our white mix. Get another spatula. Right, let's try out these colours. I'm really excited to see what these are like. So my little trick for opening colour mill bottles, because everyone always moans that they leak, is you get a sterile needle, like I'm using a pin, and then you just pierce a hole like that. You don't take the lid off, because if you take the lid off and peel it off, the hole is so big that it just ends up leaking everywhere. It still occasionally leaks a little bit if doing this, but it definitely, I find that it reduces it quite a bit. So I end up with less of a leaky bottle, which is always good because it's just so much less mess to tidy up. Oh, that is a lovely colour. Right, let's see how these turn out. I'm going light first because I don't know how pigmented they are. It makes a lovely baby pink. That's the thing with these, obviously you can use them to do lots of different tones. I'm going to add a lot more in because I want a more defined pink. Right, I think we're going to go with that. I don't know if you can tell, but it is a gorgeous baby pink, but it's slightly darker than I would make a baby pink. It's kind of an in-between colour. Right, I'm going to set that to one side, and then what we'll do is put them all in piping bags, because I think we're going to go for the stripes, and if we're doing the stripes you need to make sure that it's in piping bags just because it's a lot more precise. Also, especially because we're using a dummy. When you're using a dummy, because it is so light, like as you can tell, I could throw it around the room. It's so light, so it means that when you're using buttercream, ganache is a lot easier because it's heavier, but if you're using buttercream on a dummy, then you're going to need to be a lot more precise, because otherwise you'll end up with loads of buttercream on your dummy, and in order to actually scrape it off you're going to be applying too much pressure and you're just going to move the dummy around. You'll probably see when I do this one, because I always struggle, it just takes a bit longer. Like I can scrape a cake within, you know, maybe like 5-10 minutes and it's done, whereas when it comes to dummies they take so much longer because they spend half the time moving around the board. So yes, that's the only thing, which is why a lot of the time, because I know people use them for like wedding cakes and stuff, people have dummies. I usually don't. Like if someone says that they want a certain amount of portions, I just give them the amount of the size for that portions, rather than them having a dummy, because they are a bit of a pain. So that is a gorgeous colour. So this is less minty than the sage. I love the sage, but it's definitely, because it is sage green, it's more of a minty tone, whereas this is more of a forest green tone. So it means that when you add very little, it's a nice olivey green, but it's not minty at all. That is really, really nice. I'm going light on these because I don't want them, I want it to be like a pastel coloured. I'm going to add a little bit more in there. Hopefully that's not too much. Right, we are going to go for that because also I'm loving greens and pinks for Christmas this year rather than red and green. So we have a very olivey green, and we're going to put that and the pink in piping bags. The white is going to be the base, so when you're doing a stripe cake you need one base colour which will go all over the cake, and then you'll use a stripe scraper, and then you need your other colours which are going to go in the gaps, which is going to be our pink and our green. So they can sit aside because we're not going to need them for a little while. Piping bags. Right, I always use a glass just because I find it easier. So, these are some piping bags that I got from Hobbycraft, and they're so flimsy, they rip so easily. Right. Hi Claire, how are we? We actually have a lot of you watching today. Usually I struggle to get everyone on at the same time, but I think we've pretty much got all the members on at the same time, which is great. So, put that to one side. Did I just get buttercream on me? I did. I'm hoping to wear these leggings later, which is why I should probably put on an apron. Yeah, I'm thinking I might go to the gym later, so I need to make sure that I don't ruin my leggings. Right. Tie that up. I haven't worn an apron in so long, just because I forget, and then I end up making all my clothes really dirty. Right. I need to drink. I've actually got, for all the over 18s, I've actually got a Pimm's here, because, I don't know, I was in Tesco's buying some butter for this video, and I don't know, I just felt like it. I was like, you know what, I fancy a Pimm's, and it was the one time in my life that I haven't been ID'd, because I didn't have it, so that was nice as well, because I always get ID'd even though I am 22, but yeah, so we have Pimm's here as well, which I'm going to have after my tea. Going to ease into it. Right, we have our white. I didn't make it too white because I didn't want it to be like an icy white. I was thinking more of like a creamy white, so that's what we've gone for. So, grab my non-slip mat. So, not that this will make much of a difference, because the cake usually has to be heavy for it to make a difference. But I did think that I might try putting something on top of this. So, where are my scissors? Up and down. Right. Like you would a normal cake, we're just gonna work our way all the way to the top. think I've done this a bit too thick, but we will have plenty to scrape off. So what I'm going to do is I'll start scraping and then I can add back in at the top where we're missing a little bit. Right. So we're going to go in with the straight side. Haven't put any on the top because, like I say, you need to use that. And then we're going to take the extra from here and put that and we'll do this a couple of times until it's fully right. Now we're going to use the smaller one. Because it's a dummy, I don't usually go until it's completely smooth, otherwise you're going to be there forever because it takes so long to get that effect. But you can make a start on the stripes. So need that bowl. Just filling in, you'll see some gaps when you do the stripes, so you just go back in and add buttercream where it scrapes it off, just to make sure that you get nice thick stripes and not with any like air bubbles or anything in them. Closer. made red buttercream before, Amy? I need to make it and bought colour mill as I've heard good things, but it didn't work. I always use Sugar Flare for red, or Colour Splash. I really like Colour Splash. I usually do a mix. I do a little bit of Sugar Flare red extra and then mostly the Colour Splash. Just because I find that Colour Splash, if you leave it for a little while, then it gives a really nice red tone. Yeah, and you can also buy Colour Splash easily. You can buy it from like Hobbycraft and places like that, which is a lot easier to get hold of than say Sugar Flare, which you usually have to order online. I usually get mine from Amazon, so, and then it comes like next day, so yes. And also I literally just leave it. Doesn't sound very like descriptive, but you know, like people do the microwave method and all of those. I don't do any of that because I find that it doesn't work. For me personally, I literally just make the buttercream an hour before it needs to be ready. Make sure that it's a decent red before you like leave it. I would say a little bit lighter than this. And then I leave that for at least an hour. It then gets darker, and then I start applying it to the cake. And you'll find that a lot of people use the fridge method, which is where you leave the bowl in the fridge and then you microwave it afterwards. But you'll find that it does the same thing if it's actually on the cake. So if you were to leave your bowl in the fridge and it darkens, you might as well put it on the cake and then put it in the fridge, and then it will darken. Obviously, if you've never done that before, you might be thinking like, is it actually gonna darken? And you might not want to put it on your cake yet. But I've personally done it quite a few times where I get it to where it's a decent colour, and then I put it in the fridge once it's all iced, and then it just darkens overnight, and then by the time they collect it, it's a really rich colour. Yeah, I tried it all. The microwave definitely didn't work. It was a Luton FC cake, so I couldn't get away with it not being red. Oh, Liverpool. Oh, I don't know why I said Luton. I don't know why that, I mean, Luton's near me, but I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind. Liverpool's a much bigger team, but yes. These stripes are very nearly smooth, and then they need to go in the fridge for like 10 minutes while we make the fondant, but they need to be a bit more precise. I also need to do the top. This is so much quicker when you do it on a normal cake. It's crazy. It's because the dummy is just so light. I hate when that happens. Why is that catching? You know when your scraper catches on the board, I'm like, why is it scratching? Why is it catching? Because there's nothing for it to catch on. Right. So I've filled all the gaps. I just need to make sure it's all smooth. I think that's one side done. Okay, and then I just need to tidy the top. Right, it isn't perfect, as you can probably see, but dummies are so hard to scrape, especially stripes. So we're going to fill all the gaps anyway, so that won't be a problem. But we're going to shove that in the fridge for 10 minutes. It won't take long because it's a dummy, so again it's a thinner layer of buttercream, so it takes less time to actually set. But we're going to quickly roll out our fondant piece to go on the front of the cake while we're waiting for that. I've also got loads of dried flowers left from like various cakes. You have like tiny, like little, maybe like 1 or 2 from each cake, but then they obviously build up. So I've got quite a stash of dried flowers, so I might use a couple of these on it as well. See how we go. Oh, dropped it on the floor. Right. So I think if we're doing pink and green stripes, I'm thinking that this should probably be, you can't do it white because the fondant white is different to buttercream white. But maybe I do it like a pale pink, a bit like the buttercream. Don't know, what do we think? Alright, I don't know if you'll be able to see as well, but that's the embosser. So embosser is the opposite to a stamp. Rather than stamping into the fondant, it brings it up. So that's what we're going to be stamping it with. And then I've just got some standard fondant from Tesco's, I think it is. I would only need a teeny tiny bit because it's just one topper that we're doing. Yeah, what do I think? What do we do? if those stripes, actually I think it will need to be white because it's going to have a lot going on. All the stripes, and when we do this and then we do the swirls around the outside to create like the reef, that's going to be a lot of like pink and green. So I think we'll go, if I can get it cream, that would be helpful. That's got lumps. I think I can't make it cream, and so I'm gonna go for adding a teeny tiny bit of pink so that it's not going to be pink like the buttercream, but it'll be like an off-white with a pink tone to it. Just matching it to the buttercream to see about colours. Teeny tiny bit to see. Still needs a little more. I'm going to add some icing sugar. I'm so indecisive about these colours. Okay, that works. Okay, goes with the sprinkles. It's not as dark as the buttercream, which is what we wanted. So I'm going to get my rolling pin, and then I'm going to roll that out. stamp it, and then we'll leave it to sit. To be fair, now I roll it out, it is a lovely like icy pink, which is going to be real nice. Make sure you press it in enough, because if you don't, then you're going to have very shallow letters. So, as you can see, it says Merry Christmas. So what you do is you just cut out. Oh. What you do is you cut out using like a cookie cutter, any of the above, and then you can paint the letters or you can just leave them as they are. I will be painting them, but I will do that in a little while. I won't be doing that yet. So we're going to cut that out first, just so that it's done and it won't set. So I'm using a cookie cutter that I have as part of a set. It doesn't have a size or anything. And you just peel off around the edge, shove that into a ball, and then you have your cupcake topper. For your cake, you can pretty much use them for anything, but I think that they're really nice on cakes, but they also look lovely as cupcake toppers. So while that is still in the fridge, we're just going to put our colours into piping bags, because we're going to need them in piping bags for the next bit. So you have to be so careful with these, because they rip like no tomorrow. Right. Those to one side. Right. So, scissors. So it's hardened. We have to be very careful with it because it will be flimsy, because like I say, it's 4-inch. So I'm going to pipe it on there, and then we're gonna smooth it out using the straight side of the scraper. I'm gonna go light in terms of how much I'm putting in here, because you can always add more. Right, we're going to try that, and then if we need to add more in, we can. So you need a bowl to get rid of any excess, because if you have any colours on your scraper, then they're just going to smudge into your stripes, which you do not want. And then we're going to add any more because there's a few gaps, so just fill those in. She might be watching it back, so
right.
you can come in. My mum wanted to give a message to Jilly, so if Jilly isn't watching now, she will be later. So, yeah, this is for you.
Yeah, Jilly. I've just tasted some of your blondies. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Gingerbread cake.
Isn't it blondie?
No.
Oh.
It's gingerbread cake.
Well, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gingerbread is my favourite flavour.
I'm going to have some more tonight.
Yeah, because I said that my mum would love it because it's gingerbread, but literally we've been working our way through all those treats because if you didn't watch the video, I spent like £100 on cake, so there's just so much that I'm still trying to get through. So I've been giving it to my parents and I've also been eating it. But I've been trying to do it in order of what's going off, like what arrived first, so what needs eaten first. But yeah, we made our way through Delights by Dina. So hers is all finished. So we finished all the cookies. We're almost finished on the Karamak and Biscoff slices, and then we're now starting on Jilly's cake, and then we've got nutmeg cakes blondies to get through, a cake jar and some more cookies. But those, like, because I know from my own baking, those will last until next week, so we've got some more time for those. But yeah, we are just swimming in cake at the moment. So I'm gonna do, I think, a banner of swirls because it is very, very difficult to get this absolutely perfect because it is a dummy cake and they're just so light that I can't get the top as like perfect as I want to get it. So what I'm going to do is do a banner in order to hide it. Actually, I could just put a drip on it. If I put a drip on it, it'll completely hide it. If I put a drip on it, can I then do the design that I want? That is the question. I don't know. I'm so indecisive. Right. We're going to go around one more time. It's this top section which is so temperamental. Yeah, that stripe at the top is what's annoying me. It's the only one that isn't tidy. The other ones are tidy, but as you can probably tell in the thing. But look at the top stripe compared to all the others. It's just really difficult to get that one smooth. We're going to give it one more go. Try and get some of that green off. Right. I am going to put this. Am I doing a drip? Right. Do I want to do a drip? I think it will work because it will hide this top section. So I think I'm going to put a white chocolate drip on it because it will take me 2 seconds. Then I can stick that on the front, do the wreath around it, and then maybe do some swirls on the top. Okay, right. I'm going to melt some white chocolate spread quickly. It will literally take 30 seconds. And then I will come back and pour it over the top. And then we will stick on our fondant disc. Right, we have our white chocolate drip. Right. So we are going to stick our fondant piece on the front. I'm gonna try and give you a bit of a view, and we're gonna have to put it straight in the fridge afterwards to make sure that it sticks. Right, that is stuck on the front like so, and then we're going to pipe around it to kind of make a wreath. So I'm going to put that in the fridge. Actually, I'm going to use sprinkles on the top first before we completely set it. We've got a few different nozzles, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piping bag, which is this one, inside a piping bag, and then we can switch the nozzles around. So we're going to use some of the white that we scraped off as well. Right, so I'm using the 2D, Wilton 2D, which is this rose nozzle. And we're going to be putting the pink inside that one. And then we have the Wilton 8B, which is this star nozzle, which has multiple. So this one, we're going to put the green in. We're having to pipe this into here because it just wants to fall out. And then one last one for the white. And then this is the Wilton 3.2. Open. So we're going to start piping on the reef and then we'll add all the sprinkles to it. Right, so I'll sit to one side so that you'll be able to see it a little bit. That wants to fall. Let's try a different colour. Something's happening here. I think it might be the bag. Sometimes you can do a bag inside a bag, but sometimes you can't, because if the bag falls down, then it begins to kind of cut off. So where I've done this rose, part of the piping has been cut off where it's scraping against the other bag that's in there. So sometimes you can do a bag inside a bag, but sometimes it just doesn't work. This side, I don't know why. I've literally done one there and it's fine, but this side does not want to stick on. Every time I do it in the same place, it just isn't working. Let's try a different spot. There we go. Oh, air bubble. So we've done the reef around the front. I feel like it looks really big because it's on a tiny cake, but it is the desired effect. So I'm gonna try using some edible glue. So because we did the drip, we can't do the chain that I wanted to do, but I was thinking that I could do something around the bottom in the style of shell bells. So we're going to be using rods, and then we're also going to be using this mix. It's vegan happy sprinkles, and it's like a pink and silver and white mix, and we'll use that in between, and then we'll sort of separate it by the big rods. So I'm gonna first put some of these on here. And then we're going to paint the letters on the Merry Christmas silver. So we may not need, because the cake is a little bit soft, I'm going to try it without the edible glue.
Fridge freezer staying there, is it tempting? Martin has put it in.
I don't know if it's on there anymore.
Mum. So these are all from Sprinkler UK. We've got the silver pearls, the silver metallic rods, and then we have the silver triangle, I think they're called dragies. Trying to get this candy cane open. Let's see. I like the candy cane on it. I'm just wondering whether it should be on both sides. Like, does it make sense if it's only on one side? I'm not really sure. So, I think I'm going to leave it as one side. And then we're just going to paint these letters. I'm just using Rainbow Dust luster paint. I get it from Hobbycraft. I don't mix my own just because I worry about getting the ratio wrong. I know some people mix their own luster dust and alcohol and you get the same effect. think that's it. I wasn't planning to do anything on the top. I wanted to just keep it as sprinkles. So this is the front where we have the embosser. So you can see what the colour tones are like of these two colours. So the ones that I used are my new ones because I wanted to try them out. So I got the Colour Mill Rose, and then we have the Colour Mill Olive for the green. And then we have a candy cane. I've painted the letters. I don't know if you can see, the lighting isn't great, but I'll give you a little once over in a minute of like with the back camera so you can see a bit better. And then we have sprinkles around the bottom, and then we have sprinkles on the top as well. So yeah, that is the finished little mini cake, and I think it's really cute. So I do love pink and green for Christmas rather than red. I think it looks so much nicer. So I'm gonna move you. Right, it is a mess in here, so I need to find a good spot. So I'll bring you over. Right, let me turn you round. So this is what the cake looks like. So you have the drip going down, and then the fondant in the middle, sprinkles around the bottom, and then the candy cane. I kind of wish the candy cane was pink and white, but it's red and white. But I still think it looks really cute. And also it's so hard to decorate cake dummies. So I really wanted to do a Christmassy cake, but obviously it's so difficult to do them on cake dummies because they're just so light. So they're just, and obviously this is a 4-inch, if you couldn't tell. So it's a 4-inch and it's 8 inches tall. So that again makes it very flimsy. So yes, it is all finished. So I'll just check the chat because I saw a few things come up. So Natasha's Law, do you have to put the ingredients on custom cakes or is it pre-packed like postals? So it's only if it's pre-packed. So that means that pre-packed is when you sell the item after you've made it, because then it's pre-packed. It's a bit like when they sell it in Tesco's. The item is already on the shelf, all packaged before they sell it, and that's the same concept with us. So it's more based around, you know, I mean, I see them all the time. There's plenty of people that do postals and they say like postal restock at Monday, like 1 p.m. and they've already baked everything that day, and then they sell it all and then they post it all. So it's for those people because they've already baked stuff before they've sold it. Whereas I don't make anything like that. I make it all to order. So that just means that you don't need a full ingredients list like in Natasha's Law, where it's a very extensive list. I still do a full ingredients list. I still do like flour, eggs, milk, etc. Just because when they're bought for gifts, I just recommend it because it means that if someone does have a reaction, you can say, well, I've given you all the ingredient info. So even if you didn't know that they were allergic, it's all written on there, because even though you don't necessarily have to put that on there, it's good to anyway. But you definitely you don't have to put all the info that Natasha's Law has, which is like a very extensive amount. But obviously if you want to, that is completely fine. It's like completely personal, like it's not compulsory, but if you want to do it. I've seen a couple, like even some of the people that I bought from for the vlog, some of them had very long lists of ingredients, and it might be that they had already baked it before they sold it to me. Or it could just be that that was their preference and they wanted to have a full ingredients list on there. But yeah, it's definitely not compulsory as far as I'm aware, because as long as you don't package things before they're sold, then that's what it counts as. It's so pretty. Love the candy canes. Thank you, Jilly. I don't know if you were here earlier, Jilly. I don't think you were. But my mum tried your gingerbread cake and she thought it was really nice, because I remember I said in the vlog we both love gingerbread. My dad doesn't like gingerbread, but we both love it. And she tried it and I knew she would like it because I really liked it. But yeah, and she was like, oh, it's so nice, I love it. But yeah, so rave reviews on the gingerbread cake. Might have to try and get you to do it like all year round because it was really good. Right, I'm gonna end the vlog because we've finished. So sorry to anyone that just joined, but feel free to go back and watch the live. We've been on for an hour and a half, which isn't too bad. So I think I might go to the gym later, so I'm going to go and chill out, eat some dinner, and then I might go out, I might not. It's the weather, it's like so horrible that I'm kind of like, maybe I won't. We'll see. But I'm gonna love you and leave you. I hope you all have a lovely evening, and yeah, thank you for tuning in, so many of you, because that's amazing. So yeah, see you later.